everybody. How are you? Good morning. This is another episode of Awaken Your Spirit. Why? I'm the money chick, and people say, why is it that you talk about your spiritual life, your health, and your relationships and your work life? Why? Because it's about building your world from the inside out. And we have all lived our lives up to this point from the outside in, like to keep up with the Joneses. And many of us are suffering right now. And it's about how do we get out of these cycles that keep forcing us to suffer. And hence, I'm partnering up with my buddy David here because he's the soul activator, the soul retrieval person, the person to help activate who the heck you are and what the heck you're supposed to be doing in this world, because the world needs you now, right now, right?
Good morning, everybody. How are you today? We got through another week of the crazy world.
I know, everything just gets crazier and crazier. I feel like I'm getting more and more detached from all the crazy that's going out there in the world.
Right. Well, what this is it's a real call for us to go inward. And since most of us are not out there being real social right now for a variety of reasons, this is a call. It's kind of the what is. And the what is right now, the way our lives are, we're being asked to literally focus within, to go within our worlds, within our homes, to really focus on our inner world, if we'll allow it.
That's the key. We have to allow it. And there's so much, including myself, that there's resistance. Like I was just talking to David before we got on. It's like, I get a little, this past weekend, I was just angry. Like I had all this resistance coming up, and I know I'm not the only one that's dealing with that. It's all old stuff. I always say in the process, I work with clients that you have to clean up your past while living in the present moment and plan for the future all at the same time. And cleaning up the past is some of this emotional, energetic gunk that is stuck in our physical and energetic bodies. And this is the part that most people are not even aware of. We just go, oh, I just got sick and I'm not really sure why I just got sick. Well, it was years of building up of energy that is not something that's serving you well, that we need to release and allow the releasing.
Right. And so being inward focused and not so caught up in the world right now, if we'll allow it, we'll start to listen to the inner story. And the inner story is your mind. And it's the story that's been telling you since you've been born, essentially. And as you listen to that story is obsolete. It doesn't work, doesn't support you. Probably is very based in fear. And so to sit in that story right now with no distractions is pretty uncomfortable, right? You're like, oh, I don't want to listen to you again. Just shut up for a while, right? And so if we address that and go, okay, part of the spiritual awakenings, part of what we're being called to do now is to deconstruct that story. And a lot of that story is just full of chaos, confusion, and literally distortion and lies. And it's like, I've worked with so many people, and you know what, we're all the same. We got different stories and whatever, but we're all the same. And literally what we're being asked to do is just literally deconstruct that program. We're moving from living out of our minds, and being, quote, out of our minds, right?
Yeah, you're feeling a little cray-cray these days.
And moving into our hearts and the intelligence of our hearts. So that, I've said it many times, I'm saying it again, the heart has its own intelligence. But there's so much noise from the mind that oftentimes we can't hear that intelligence that comes from the heart. And that comes from knowing.
Right.
If we quiet down enough, we start to know. Right, Julie?
Yeah. And that quiet time, that's been part of the benefit of the pandemic, is it's forced us into some of this quiet time that we've not been naturally taking ourselves. But with that, then creates turbulence, right? Because you're starting to realize going, oh, I've created all these things in my life that I either resonate with or I don't resonate with. And I'm finding more people these days have a lot of unrest. Not only is there unrest going on outside, but there's all this unrest going on inside because you've created a life. And yes, I'm going to say you created a life, just like I've created my life up to this point. And is that aligned with your inner self or is it not? And so many people are finding they did it for other reasons outside of themselves and not for themselves.
Right. And so if you look at it, one of the things that is happening, is prevalent in our society right now is alternate realities. There seems to be numerous alternate realities of what people think are truth. And
all you have to do is talk about politics, and that's true.
Right. Well, I wasn't really going into politics, but what I was going to point out was that, in a family, if you go back and the family's together and you ask everybody their version of what happened, you'll get as many versions of what they thought happened as there are people in the room. So the point that I'm trying to make is that we have created stories for ourselves that we have accepted as true. And I think it's really important to, one, look at those stories and go, is that true? And two, does that story serve me? So is it empowering me, or is it taking me into places of fear and anger? And maybe I need to get rid of that story. Maybe I need to deconstruct it.
I had somebody say to me yesterday, they're going, I have to figure out why my brain does that. I'm like, no, you don't. That keeps you hooked. Who cares about the why? Who cares about how you got there? Just let it go and change the story. Like, we don't have to hook into understanding it. That's the monkey mind. It's just another way of suffering, going, I got to figure this out. I don't know why it didn't work. You know what? Just know that it didn't work and move the heck to the next step. Like, otherwise you stay trapped. People stay trapped in these stories that are exhausting. And like, if you're one of those women that picks up the phone and talks to 50 million people, because trust me, I used to be that woman where I would tell my story to 10 different people, and it was just like amplifying it and energizing it and creating more suffering. And it's like, no. If you actually go inward with that and you actually feel the feelings from whatever's going on, you move you move through that way faster. And even today, with everything going on in the world, it's like, feel through your nervousness about it. Feel through, but just feel it so that you can move on. Feel it and then move on. Because, as I talk about all the time when it comes to our health, if we don't feel the feelings, then what happens is those unprocessed emotions crystallize in our physical system, and years of this crystallization then actually creates disease in our physical bodies. Which is why when you're like starting to work out and trying to start to move that energy, it hurts, because you're literally breaking things up that have crystallized in your system. It's no different than when I have people, one of the processes I work through on the money process, and I'm like, tell me about your closets at home. And they're like, what does that have to do with my money? I came here with my brokerage accounts and I want to talk about money. I'm like, because typically if you've got a bunch of crap in your closets at home, you probably are doing this dance with debt, because it's financial clutter or it's physical clutter. But emotionally, it's all unprocessed emotions. And so the underlying cause of whether it's financial clutter or physical clutter, it's still unprocessed emotions that then build up in your body and create disease. That's how it's all correlated. And people are like fascinated when I say that. And I'm going, but it's easier to attack the closets than it is to attack some of the financial debt, right? And so when I have people clean out their closets, a lot of times what'll happen is they'll catch colds, they'll get sick, they'll be sneezing. Why? Because you're actually, when you change it physically in the closet and you move all that stuff, it has to move inside of you too. And so it cleans out in both aspects. So that's why, today when we decided, the world just keeps getting crazier. How do you find your tenacity inside to do this? And some of it is like cleaning out the gunk so that you can put yourself on a stable foundation. You know, I was just telling you, I wound up with 3 carloads from, I moved out of an office after 18 years and cleaning out my own bedroom. It was my closets and everything. 3 carloads of stuff, you know, with those, you know, cleaning out all that stuff. And it was just things that were old energy, things that didn't serve me.
Right. So the thing is that, you know, our uh, Julie's working out every day on her Peloton, and you know, that's what I do. I train 4 days a week, and what I find is that, you know, so when we're moving this energy, because our whole energetic system, right? So we're moving from the head into the heart. We want to get that energy flowing in all directions, and so that's going to impact not only our inner world but our outer world. And I want to tell you, I was talking to Julie about this before we went on, is that what you'll find is that our spiritual world, our energy world. So when we go in and we're in bliss and working out, you'll start to find that your whole body will go into bliss. It will go into that energy and into that light. And when that starts happening, you can feel your body reorganizing itself to optimum health.
Right.
And when you move to optimum health, then you're vibrating, you're alive, your whole body is like, everything is starting to become congruent. The body aligns with the heart, with the soul, with the mind. Everybody's going in the same direction energetically within you,
right,
and outside. And so it doesn't matter what your age is, all of a sudden you can find, oh my God, I've got more energy than I've had in years. And, you know, I've got stamina and I've got focus. And so all of that means I am more alive. And so this, you know, this keeping this flow of energy going continuously is really important, because it affects us on so many different levels. And the more aware we are and the more connected we are, the more we can embody and enjoy our lives, rather than being lost in our minds for hours and hours in some kind of craziness.
Right. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. One of my other spiritual teachers, he talks about that there's the 4 pillars. It's your physical, it's your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual. And the spiritual being like meditate, prayer and meditation. Physically, make sure you're working out 3 days a week. Also physically, it's what the food that you're putting in your body. You know, we have to remember, like, you know, we have this whole thing of like, eat your vegetables, you know, it's like, you hear your parents saying their version of that, right? But it's like, you know, I had a client who actually just said on Facebook, and I thought this was great. This is a woman who's, you know, been over 350 pounds most of her adult life. And she said, my life has always been about losing weight. Everything was lose weight, lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. And we beat ourselves up in that process. She said, you know what? I shifted it. She goes, I want to gain fitness. Like, how differently energetically does that feel by saying, my whole life's about gaining fitness now, as opposed to losing weight, you know, or about building wealth instead of getting out of debt. Like, I tell this story. I'll never forget Susie Orman on Super Soul Sunday with Oprah Winfrey. And she said to this CPA who had $78,000 of credit card debt on 23 different credit cards. And she said to this accountant, she goes, you are no longer allowed to spend any money until you're 100% out of the debt. And I'm like, people don't want to go to jail every day. People don't want to feel that way energetically. That sucks the life out of somebody. No different than, I just got to lose weight. I just got to lose weight. It's like, no. Change the motivator. Change your compelling reason. I want to gain fitness. I want to have assets. I want to have money. You know, like, turn it from a negative to a positive. All of this is energy. That's what we don't understand. Money is energy. Our food is energy. Working out, like this Peloton treadmill that I bought is the best thing since sliced bread, because I love the energy of the different trainers. Like, it energizes me to have something different every day. And I'm a mom of 4 kids. And sometimes I'm an at-home school teacher these days, and I run a company and I write books and I do online series. Like my plate's full. And to have, 20 feet away from me, my Peloton tread that I can have access to thousands of different programs, it excites me. It energizes me. And it's like, so what in your life can you shift, this little shift, like to something that sucks the life out of you, to something that totally energizes you and wakes up the inside, because you are screaming to come out, screaming. And this is why, I think the energy work, David, that I do with you, when I'm down and out and I feel like life is a shit sandwich, like I was telling you, David holds these group sessions on Sundays that if any of you are available, like get a hold of him, michaelglardy.com. You can join these on Sunday. I was mad as hell on Sunday. And I just made sure I was on the Zoom. Nobody saw my face because I hadn't showered at 4 o'clock in the afternoon yet. But I sat through that energy session and it helped. Sometimes when you're in that pile of poop, you need the support system. And this is why, we do this so that we can bring an extra support system to you while all this crazy's going on in the world,
Right. So really what you're talking about is ultimately you're reorganizing your energy. And so, and as we learn to, again, sometimes something will trigger us and we will all of a sudden be in that story and you go, I'm in the story again. Don't want to be here. And so when you recognize you're in the story and then you have the capacity to start changing that, to literally take yourself out of that and go, no, I'm just not going to listen to that story. I'm going to get my Peloton. And,
right.
I know that the energy is going to change and I'll be better.
Right.
And so this is what I want to point out. This is not about failure. This is about the first time a lot of us have had enough time and to really go in and look within. It's sort of like Julie talking about cleaning the closet. And you go like, man, I haven't checked in with myself in a long time because I'm, always on to the next thing, running, going, whatever. And now I have time and, what in the hell is in that closet? What's inside of me? What are those stories? Who are those people? And it's like, I want to be free from all this automatic mind stuff that goes on, the stories and stuff, it's like, I want to choose. I don't want to be in default mode here. I want to choose my state. I want to choose how I want to be current with me now. I want all the garbage that's been in that closet for years gone. And it doesn't happen in a moment. It takes work. You have to reconstruct an old story. But this is, I think we talked about this a little bit maybe last time, but it's sort of like remodeling a house when you take it down to the studs.
Right.
And when you take it down to the studs, the whole place looks like hell. You're just like, okay, I just spent a lot of money with a designer and my house looks worse than it's ever looked. What am I doing?
Feel a little vulnerable.
And then, room by room, you start reconstructing that house. And you shore up the foundation if it needs work. You shore up the electrical if it needs, whatever. Right. But what you're doing is like, you intentionally taking and clearing that house out down to the studs and rebuilding.
Right.
And that's what we need to do with our inner space, that each one of us needs to reconstruct, because the way, particularly in American life, all of us have been chasing for years. The faster we go, nobody had time for anything, And so
they absolutely did not.
As a year ago, everything changed. And it was like, okay, we went from chasing to being, it's kind of like self-incarcerated, right? In our homes. And it's and
it's because we've been told we can't choose. Like I think about, let's think about the masks, right? It's like, now they're saying not 1, now they're saying 2. It's like, shut your mouth, you don't matter. Like, think about the symbolism. Like, I get logistically they help, but think about the symbolism behind don't have your voice, you can't speak up. Like, we're going to make you hide. We're going to make you not choose. Like, there is some subliminal messaging that goes on behind that. And, but there's so many parts of our lives today with everything going on that we don't feel like we're choosing our life. But I'm telling you, you can flip that switch. People are like, how are you happy? I'm like, I have my Peloton, my kids are healthy. You know, I traveled throughout all this because I'm like, I'm gonna just take care of my immune system and boost my immune system and be polite to others and wear my mask where appropriate. But I never stopped choosing my life. But I am watching people everywhere not choose their lives. Yes, there are things that we need to deal with. Yes, there are things out there. But this choice piece is so important. And we may not have before pandemic not chose because we were in the distractions of life, alcohol, workaholic, smoking, drinking, whatever. Like, where were we not choosing our lives then? Because if you weren't doing it then, you're probably not doing it now because you're just waking up to this. And this is where it's so, so important. And this is where let's find that inner strength and that tenacity and be the bright light that you are, because the more you can be you in the world right now, the more it upgrades for everybody else, because you're showing your kids, your neighbors, and then it's an example of how do you get out of the pile of poop that's sitting around us, right? But it starts with your own energy and your own choosing. That's where the tenacity starts. You know?
Right.
So shall we take them into the energy?
Yeah, let's do that.
This is my favorite part, everybody. So it's really simple. If you don't know what the heck you're doing, just close your eyes. David will take care of the rest. It's my favorite
part. There we go.
All right. We go.
So what I'd like everybody to do is go inward, okay? And I'd like you to kind of focus on your center, on your heart center. And as we go onto this journey today, we're going to be bringing energy through your body. And as we're bringing that energy through your body, I want you to just feel parts of yourself opening up, waking up, switching on, turning on. And notice as we're talking about that light, feel a flow of energy moving throughout your body, and just feel that energy really activating through your physicality. So not only are we going into higher realms of consciousness, but we are also going into your physical. And really what I'm talking about is the two are so interconnected. We, part of the problem that we've had with the mind is the mind wants to take over and separate itself from the physical body. And so there's just a natural proclivity when we start moving into the heart and into these other levels of light to think that the body is something less or that holds us back. And the truth of the matter is that the body is inherently important, because that's how we're here on this planet. We're in these physical bodies. So we want to really include the body and in the spiritual, and know that as we create a healthy physical body, it's also creating a healthy heart space and a healthy consciousness, so that we can be present, we can be in this now moment, and that we can be in this now moment and feel and connect from our heart, from our soul, rather than our minds taking over and hijacking us every time. There's nothing wrong with the mind, except the mind has become almost pernicious in the fact that it wants to dominate, and it's a part of a whole. So anyway, enough of that. I'd like you to go into your center, into your core, And what I would like you to experience or imagine that you're in a very large pyramid of 24 karat plasma light. This pyramid's like the Pyramid of Giza. It's huge. And there's actually 13 of them stacked on top of each other. And in this pyramid, at the base of the pyramid are 3 circles of light. The first circle light is 13 mama dragons. The second circle light is 13 pointed stars. And the third circle light is 13 dream weavers. And I'd like you to feel a force of light coming from the base of the pyramid into your toes, your arches, your heels, feeling that force of light moving up your legs, moving into your hips. We're going to bring this light and this energy to the base of your spine. When we get to the base of the spine, I want you to really notice the energy being focused at the base of your spine. We're going to place the central sun in the spine and just feel a tremendous force of energy at the base of your spine. We're going to move that energy up the spine and we're going to come to the heart center. And when you come to the heart center, I'd just like you to have the intention of opening your heart, even if you don't know how to do that. And we're going to place a central sun in the heart center. I'd like you to feel the heart opening, feel the energy of the heart, because the heart is the gateway to the multiverse. It's the gateway into these other levels. And we want to really feel that. I want you to feel your heart. I'd like you to really actually today have the intention of creating a relationship with your heart. And some people, this is like fully open. For other people, it's new information. But just, have the intention. It's like, I would like to open my heart. Or if you're not willing to do that, go, I would like to work on the process of opening my heart, and maybe really go into why I don't want to open it and see where that takes you anyway. So we're going to place the central sun in the heart center. I'm going to take that light all the way up the spine now. Feel a flow of light and energy flowing into your shoulders, your upper arms, your lower arms, your hands, your fingers. I'm going to place the central sun in your palms and your fingertips. Feel the radiance and the energy of the energy in your palms and your fingertips. So we're going to move to the brain stem. And at the brain stem, I'm going to place another central sun, feeling the radiance of the brain stem, feeling the energy there. The brain stem is where it connects you into all your neurotransmitters. And we are going to connect the brain stem through the heart to the base of the spine. So we're going to create a figure 8 of energy going from the base of the spine through the heart to the brainstem and back. So I want you to really just know that there's a figure 8 of energy that's going to be continuously flowing as we're doing this work. We're going to go to the brainstem, and at the brainstem, we're going to activate your thymus, your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your pineal glands. And these are very important glands in your system. And in the pineal glands in the center of the brain, we're going to place a central sun in the pineal gland, because that's your gateway into the multiverse, into higher levels of consciousness, into holographic and multidimensional awareness, as well into your galactic level. So we really want to feel the radiance in the brain, feel the luminosity. And now I'm going to have you spiral out the apex of the pyramid, out your third eye, out the apex of the pyramid, and now start traveling through a galactic corridor as plasma light informs. You're traveling through this corridor of plasma light as light inform, and I want you to merge the plasma of your blood with the plasma that is the central sun, creating a fusion of light and feeling the radiance of that fusion, feeling the connection, feeling the vitality of the life force from the central sun coursing through your entire body, moving through your entire pulmonary system, feeling your physical really switching on, and coming alive. And we're gonna spiral out through the galactic gateway, and we're going to start moving into fractals of light and into a beautiful kaleidoscope of fractal light, prismatic light. And I want you to, as you go spiral into this kaleidoscope of light, I'd like you to experience yourself going directly into a radiant sun. And so at this time, your body is now moving into its energy form. And I want you to feel those fractals of light, those prisms of light, and that central sun really cleaning and cleansing and purifying your inner field. Feel it cleansing your emotional body, your mental body. Feel your spiritual body really moving and switching on. And as we're traveling through these fractals of light and this kaleidoscope of light, feel your entire body being reconfigured with these fractals of light, that they're just purifying, cleansing, removing any and all heaviness, fear, chaos, confusion. It's just being cleansed out of your field. And we're going to go directly into the central sun now. And I want you to feel the radiance of that sun, feel the radiance of that light as you're bathed in that luminosity, bathed in that light. And I want you to feel yourself really being placed into a cocoon of radiant light in that central sun with spirals of light coming, spiraling through your entire body, from spirals from the base of your body and spirals from the top, creating spirals within spirals of radiant light, feeling yourself in this cocoon of light so that you are literally in a metamorphosis of consciousness, the beginning of a metamorphosis from caterpillar to the butterfly. And as that happens in nature, in that process, you kind of go into this liquid state for a while. And that's where the transformation happens. So we're going to like really start moving this energy now. I want you to feel this energy, this light moving into your heart center. And we're going to start moving into a frequency of ecstasy. And allow yourself to just travel in this light. Feel the expansiveness of your being. And feel the radiance of this light in every cell and every atom, vibrating, raising the frequency. And they're vibrating at a much higher frequency. There we go. And feel your heart really opening now. Feel that. And for some of you, opening the heart is just what you do. And for other people, it might be a new experience. So just allow that energy to start opening you, expanding you, feeling like there's much more spaciousness in your being. And as you move into that spaciousness, feel a flow of energy. And we're going to travel in silence for a few minutes and just let this energy move through you, take you on a journey. Feel this energy just cleansing and clearing and lifting the fog. Allowing yourself to move into radiance and sunlight. And as the heart opens, reach for the joy. Reach for that energy that just allows flow in your life. And the mind is still, and you're just allowing and letting it flow, the energy. Feeling the sunlight, the radiance coming in. Feeling the heart open and feeling your passion. And let's really go into an energy of resilience. No matter what life has thrown at us, that we're now really going into that part of us that is resilient. Feeling parts of us that have been maybe shut down are starting to switch on, come back to life. Maybe taking those deep breaths and going, I'm still here. And let's reach a little deeper and see if we can touch into that energy called passion. And what we might be passionate about. And that knowing on a global level, we are in a process of metamorphosis, of death and birth, of transformation. Of rising up out of the ashes of the past and boldly moving into the future. Feel yourself capturing the extraordinary resources that you have within. That regardless of what the story is, that today is the day that you pull yourself up out of the ashes of the past and move forward. And as you move into your new day, but you also move into a new future. And as you are a co-creator with the life force or source, that you start to focus on that new day and that new future and what you want to bring to it. And really feel the magnitude and the strength of your being. And reach into your DNA and pull forth the pioneering spirit. As we're moving into the evolution of our new world. Individually and collectively, we are in a metamorphosis and a transformation. And in our forebears, who came to a new world and created a new life, we are descendants of that energy. And we are here to create a new life and a new consciousness and a new way of being. And then we move out of the story of what was and into the story of co-creating a new world, a new consciousness. So all of us, as we go through this metamorphosis and change, it's tempting to get trapped in the story of what was. But truly, we are pioneers. And it's time for us to focus on what can be, what we can create, new way of being, of fully opening to our human potential and the light lineage that we're all connected to. And as we come out of the rubble and the confusion of the past, we're born into the light with passion, with vigor, with joy, knowing that we can do this, that we have this, we've got it. And that we chose to be on this planet at this time knowing that we were going to go through a total transformation. And here we are in the process of this metamorphosis and transformation. So I really encourage all of us, including myself, to step into this day with gusto. Bringing forward our capacity to emerge from chaos into a whole new level of being, a whole new level of way of being. And a joyous transformation, maybe not easy, for sure. But each one of us together are in that process of creating a new world for ourselves. And so I just encourage each of you to show up in your radiance, show up in your brilliance. It's all there. Let it come forward as the old stuff falls away. We need to look ahead with exuberance and joy rather than looking in the rearview mirror of the past. So that we can start living our lives in passion, in joy. We can start living out of the intelligence of our heart. And as we move through this metamorphosis into very advanced beings of light, that's what we're being called to do. To shed the past, to shed the shell, and evolve into the butterfly, into those beings of radiant light, bringing forth tremendous vibrations of intelligence and love, passion, joy. That's our future if we want to embody it. That's our lineage of light, which we are all being introduced to. All right. As always, it's a great pleasure and joy to be with everybody, share with everybody. Julie, I'll pass it back to you.
Well, I hope everybody feels chill, grounded, and you're ready to launch your day in an amazing way because you deserve it. And remember that David and I are here every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Central. If you want to do one-on-one sessions with David, you can go to michaelgallardi.com and send him a message. They're amazing. Clearly, we're giving you samples, but when he zones in on just you and you only, it is off the charts. He also does another group session on Sundays that he can also connect you with as well. So we are here to help you activate who you are and what you're meant to be in the world. And I've put the link below. I want to help all of you on your journey. I am giving my book, Awaken Your Wealth, away for free to help you on your journey. All you have to do is pay for your shipping. And we're here to be a resource for you. So hope everyone has the best day ever, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.